Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hiking with Shari. I have been a bad girl and have not hiked all week long. I thought I stepped in poop. It was some mushy sand. I tried going hiking the other day, but it was closed off. So I figured I couldn't end a week without getting some in. Plus, as everyone knows, this rejuvenates me. I've been finding other ways to have my connection, my meditation time. But this is always the best. I wanted to talk about your inner spirit, your guide, your soul. I want to encourage you. God, I look tired. I want to encourage you to listen to it. I want to encourage you to think about that every time that you've ever listened to anything that's been a strong voice within you to follow something, to do something, I'm pretty sure that it always was the best choice for you. Now, on the other hand, when you've been sort of torn, do I do this? Do I not do this? And then you go ahead and choose to do it, and then it didn't work out. A lot of you think that you were guided in the wrong direction. And the way that I have found for myself is that any time that I am not at peace with a decision, meaning I can't decide either way, I don't do any action at all. I just think about it, I pray about it, I meditate about it. The reason why I'm talking about this today is because your spirit, your soul is always speaking to you. But we have to quiet all this stuff to be able to hear all of this stuff. Now, I have a dear friend of mine that mentioned to me something that really upset me yesterday, and something that I didn't know about them. And you say, well, how are you a dear friend? Well, we've gotten to know each other online, so there's only so much that you know that people present, and you don't know everybody's lives. Anyway, they mentioned something about crying a lot, almost every day. And I started thinking about a lot of people that do that. And I started thinking about people in my own life, in my own family, that have been in situations that they've stayed in longer than they should have for fear of many things. Maybe they have a family and they're afraid, maybe somebody supports them. Maybe they're afraid to break up the family. Maybe they're afraid that if they're on their own, they can't be by themselves. Maybe they're afraid. The common theme here is that no matter how much fear you have, that's all in your mind, the fear. That's nothing worse than having all this hurt in your soul. Something that's making you cry every single day or making you unhappy, that is so much worse than the supposed fear, which fear doesn't really exist. Fear means false evidence appearing real. It's all stuff that we've taught ourselves and that we've told ourselves that might happen. And more than often than not, never happens. It never happens. Our fears usually never come true. It's always much worse. And then when we do something, we're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. But when you're crying every day or when you find yourself unhappy in your life, that's something that you know that deep in your soul, that is your spirit. You have got, and I say this, you have got to do what it is that makes you happy. You have got to make the choices in your life that are going to bring out the best of you, because your life is so short and so limited that to live one moment unhappy is so unworthy of living a life at all. You're selling yourself short in so many ways. And yes, you might think that it might be easy for me to say, but I have living examples of people who have just taken risks and chances, including myself. I've left, unhealthy relationships thinking that I would maybe never find anybody again. I've picked up from New York City, where I knew everybody, and moved out here to Los Angeles, where I knew not a soul. And now I have a beautiful life here. I'm going to give you a short example. My sister was in a relationship and is married. It was an abusive relationship. My sister gave her everything to this person, so lost herself in the interim of it. Had a single daughter. She was abused, all this stuff, my sister was. And I kept talking about her leaving. And, of course, you can't make anybody do anything. They have to do that themselves. And during this time, she was listening to her spirit a little bit that was telling her, go do this. She was always a worker and stuff, and she decided, I'm going to go do some medical assistant school or whatever. And, liked it, but wasn't really in love with it, and she just wasn't in love with her life because of what was happening at home. And she ended up stopped doing that. Things happened at work that she was basically, see, my life sucks. Why is all this stuff happening? Why, with this job? She finally decides to leave. She picks up, takes her daughter, they leave, okay? The biggest risk ever. Now, Now picture her, a single mom, puts herself through school, gets herself a master's, and now working on a PhD as a special ed teacher. In the meanwhile, that medical assistant thing that she was like, yeah, about, she's at the swimming pool with her daughter. A boy starts drowning in the pool. My sister's able to administer CPR and saves the boy's life. Nothing in this world is accidents. You've got to follow your spirit. You've got to follow your guide. And no matter how fearful you are, you're always going to be given a pair of wings to fly when you take that risk. And if you don't get wings to fly, there's going to be a net below to catch you. I mean, you're never going to get more than you can handle. You're never going to not be taken care of. And you have to take yourself and your life seriously. And you have to believe that you're so worthy of this life, that you should not be spending one moment crying. You should not be spending one moment upset. And I know that it's scary. I know that it's scary to leave something that you've known for so long or that you believe that you are deserving of. But it's not any scarier than living a life that you're completely unhappy in, than spending one more moment of your life crying or living in fear or just living in a rut, just going through the humdrum of life and wondering how all these people out there are walking around with smiles and living their lives. It's because they've made choices at some point in their life when they hit a fork in the road. They made a choice. Which way am I going to go? Am I going to go the safe route, which is going to get me the same thing over and over again, or am I going to believe that I am worth everything? And I hope that you choose that for yourself. I hope you realize just how worthy you are. And I hope you realize that whatever choice you make, when it's one that follows your heart, the whispers of your heart, your guide, you're always, always gonna fly. All right, I love you guys. This is going on. And I've missed half my hike. All right, bye. Happy day. Bye.